of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
Here are the contest rules for WHOW and WEZC Radio. We allow only one winner of any prize from either station per household in a 30-day period. Prizes can be picked up by the winner at our studios inside the Big Red Barn, 4 miles south of Clinton on U.S. Highway 51 within 2 weeks of winning. Our office hours are weekdays from 8 till 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Employees of WHOW, WEZC, and their families are not allowed to participate in our contest. Thanks for participating and for listening to WHOW and WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show, Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council. Good morning, Curt. How are you?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing good, and I apologize I couldn't be there in person. I always like to be there, but unfortunately, schedule wouldn't allow that this morning.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll let it slide this time. Don't let it happen again, though.
No. I promise.
No, it's all good, and I totally understand. I know you're a busy guy and all over the place, and let's dive into, Curt. I'm sure that you and others are probably paying close attention to the latest with what's happening in the stock market and just kind of the happenings financially right now in our country. I don't know if you've got a take on what's happening, but give us kind of your thoughts and your reaction.
Yeah, so, I follow very, very closely national and even Midwestern economic trends. And certainly on a national level, they seem to be in a decline. So the stock market, for those that follow that, the stock market has really taken a hit the last several days with some selling, and a lot of that is because of consumer weakness. The consumer is unable or unwilling to spend as much money, and so that has caused some downturns economically. I have contacts actually throughout the country, but I spoke with a realtor on the East Coast about a month ago, and her comment was that home sales there had drastically dropped. And she said, you may not have seen that in the Midwest yet, but she says typically the Midwest is shielded a little bit more, but it'll come, or it comes a little bit later. So so that sign, that is an indicator as well, and so we're cautiously watching economic activity for sure, and and a lot of that is consumer. Now we're going to have back to school spending that's probably taking place now, so that's always an upbeat in terms of retail activity. The problem is it's not discretionary. So many of our area businesses rely on the discretionary spending, where it takes money away from additional purchases. So yeah.
Sure. What does does watching things at a national level, Curt, is it any indicator as to what may be coming locally? I mean, you talked about the housing market. Is there anything more that you take note of when you're watching national trends, whether it's financial or otherwise?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watch it mostly to help businesses that I'm in contact with potentially manage their expectations a little bit better. So, sometimes that can be helpful. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't change any of their day-to-day operations. But I like to stay on top of that for sure. Now, I fully expect an interest rate cut by the Fed in September, as most economists do. And that's an indication. That's something that certainly needs to be done. Probably they should have done that at the July meeting and did not. But I fully expect that will happen in September. So that's a way to kind of stimulate some economic activity again. And again, some people have said, well, that September they should have done it earlier. So they may have delayed that a little bit too long, but regardless, I feel that's coming. And of course, lower interest rates will stimulate housing a bit, will stimulate maybe borrowing and more purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
but ultimately, from our day-to-day activities, we look at our businesses and how we can give them some warning. And the reality is they probably already seeing it. They're seeing it before the data comes even in on a national level. But business to business can be hit and miss. So we just want to warn people that maybe it's coming, and just be careful out there. Don't overspend in the next 30 to 60 days. So
very good. Yeah, good advice for sure. Well, Curt, anything else on kind of the happenings within the stock market and otherwise that you're taking note of?
That's me. The level of I heard an economist this morning, as a matter of fact, indicate that probably our chance of a recession has gone from about 20 to 25% to close to 50%. So, we may even be in a recession, and that data doesn't come out till later to find out. But that's a real possibility. Now, I don't want to be doom and gloom, because these are nationwide statistics. But I do want to let people know that is something that I certainly watch on a very regular basis. The economic activity, whether it's again, stock market economic indicators from all over the country. Now, again, Midwest is somewhat shielded. Business to business varies for sure. But we're actually looking at ways that we can help pinpoint data to help our countywide businesses as well. And I'd actually, if you got time, I'd like to jump into that just a little bit.
Well, you kind of beat me to the segue there, Curt. I don't really appreciate you skirting out on coming into the studio this morning and then taking away my transitions from me. You're really grinding my gears a little bit today, my friend.
Hey, I apologize.
Curt. I'm just busting your chops, my friend. You go right ahead and do what you want.
No, so one of the, we're always looking for the latest and greatest technology and trends, and everybody's probably heard of artificial intelligence, and everyone in the world has a cell phone, and there's an awful lot that can be done through cell phone data tracking. And so, we've recently looked into some programs out there that will track who's coming into our county, where they're going, how much time they spend here, where they came from. I mean, all of this is tracked through cell phones. So we can look at, again, the number of people that drive by Clinton, as an example, on a particular road, or Farmer City along the highway. We can tell how many of those people stop, how many of these people don't stop, if there's any trends that go along with it, and then potentially how to market to those. We can even identify their incomes, their jobs, and a lot of data that could be extraordinarily useful to our local businesses. So one of the things we'd like to see is some of the lake traffic spend more time and more money in DeWitt County. Well, how do we do that? What do we know about our lake traffic? Well, really, we might know a few people that come here, but we don't really know a lot of data. Where are they coming from? What's their income? What's their job? Where are they staying? Where are they staying? Where are they stopping? Are they just coming in, going to the lake, and then leaving? Or are they coming here and there? Are they making some additional stops? If they're not making additional stops, we need to be able to target specifically to those individuals and find ways to get them to do that. So on one hand, I say, economic data right now on a nationwide basis isn't super positive. On the other side of it, that makes us really want to be more proactive with the folks that are here and capture every dollar that we can for our local businesses and for our local, our taxing authorities. I mean, every dollar that's spent on gas helps fix a road, locally. So that's a positive thing, and that's what we're looking at. That technology is not particularly cheap, for for DeWitt County, for us to take that project on, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 to $15,000 per year, and we would want to track that data over time, and then be able to share that so that our businesses can market more effectively, so that our communities can market more effectively, and ultimately we feel like that's probably going to be a great investment for everyone. I can tell you there are multiple other counties, cities, municipalities that are already doing this, and doing it to their advantage. So it's the technology. It's almost scary, the technology's out there. So I don't have to do anything on my phone. Just so you know, if I drive wherever I'm driving, I'm being tracked via my cell phone, and through online activity or otherwise, someone knows an awful lot about me. So it's not shared on an individual. Just so everyone knows, it's not shared on an individual basis. So I don't know that, Seth went to, the grocery store today, and then he went, to this restaurant for lunch, and then he went home, and then, I don't know those things, but we know them on a data basis. So there's not a names associated with it, but I have all the data. So I have that X number of individuals came into our county, X number didn't. Here's where they all came from, and here's the ones that stopped. Here's the ones that went to a business establishment. I mean, it's almost unlimited data. Here's their jobs. Are they in management? Are they in retail? Are they in, here's the income breakdowns. I mean, it's crazy.
It sounds like a long-term play, Curt, more than something that would be, used in the immediate. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, we would get that data immediately, and unless it changed, I mean, it's both. So I think there's some things that our businesses could do, or our non-for-profits or our cities, our communities could do immediately. But over the trend over a longer period of time is also important as well. So apple and pork, we can identify very, very accurately how many people we have at Apple and Pork, where they came from, how much time they spent there, and if there is a trend with that, then you can market to that. So if you see there's a large number of people driving, 3 hours early in the morning, and they're not stopping for breakfast in your community, maybe you can find a way to serve them breakfast. I don't know. Maybe you can find a way to get them to fill up their gas tank before they go. So certainly it could be long term, and it certainly would be long term, because you would get the trends over time. But if you're seeing immediately that, for Farmer City as an example, and I'm going to make this number up, if there's 10,000 people driving by Farmer City, and only 300 are pulling off the interstate to come in, of those, what's the number of community residents? Why are those other people coming? Why aren't the other people coming? And what can you do to attract some of those 10,000 more into town off the interstate?
Gotcha.
So I think that could be something that could be done quickly, actually.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting stuff.
yes.
How?
So I think the payback would be quick if people embrace the technology, for sure.
Now, are you going to have to ask the county for additional funds, or is this part, because you mentioned they've returned to investing in the DCDC? Is this just part of that investment? What's the kind of financial status of this?
Well, it is one of our, and we are so thankful for that the county's back on board, and a lot of it is we're always insightful into economic programs and activities that we do, but it would be, it will be part of our regular ask in terms of what their support is. We feel like that is a program that will that will fit into what we're doing. So I know they're going to be starting the budget process soon. So that is, that this particular program is one that we'll be bringing up and discussing with them for sure. So,
sure.
We have, much of their support at this point has been really just day-to-day operational. Certainly the grant program has been extraordinarily helpful. And, it's important that we have certainly the county and then our local governments on board as well. But the county has really been the leader in that activity. So
sure.
It'll be discussed as part of our regular ask for funds, I guess, from the county.
Well, Curt, let's take a break here, my friend. Come back with some more. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, on the phone with us. More to come with him here on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4Ls with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
There is still time for summer savings here at Baum Chrysler Jeep. This is Will Daniels in downtown Clinton. Come see the Chrysler Pacifica in stock today. For August, see our summer savings price on each new Pacifica, America's most awarded minivan 7 years in a row. The interior is stunning and comfortable, and it has seating for 7, or use the stow and go seating for the items you need moved with convenience. Summer savings at BaumChryslerJeep.com, your downtown dealer in Clinton.
Still time for summer savings at Baum Chevrolet Buick. This is Scott Baum. Our goal is to make your purchase decision easy. That's why we have our prices posted on each and every car. For August, see our summer savings posted on each Chevrolet car, truck, SUV, crossover, and EV, especially the sporty Trailblazer and the all-new Chevy Trax. As always, our Silverados are in stock and ready to work for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City, right from the start.
Hi, this is Dr. Sue Stur at Covenant Animal Clinic, your hometown vet in Clinton. Now is the time to protect your pet from heartworm disease. We are now offering ProHeart 6, which protects your pet for 6 months with one simple injection. Get all the details by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Whether it's damage from a fire or Illinois storms, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties will make it like it never even happened. Find out how they can help you by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, on the phone with us today. And Curt, I know folks have been anxiously awaiting that second round of DCDC grant funding, and sounds like details are soon on the way. What's going on here?
So, I haven't talked a lot about, and certainly not on air, but I did have a brother that passed away, and that delayed our second round. So, we are ready now to release round 2 of the grant. I will have those up online, most likely late in the week, but give me a week, give me the weekend just to be safe. So keep watching for those. Follow us on Facebook, DeWitt County Development Council, and you'll see the announcement there. But it was just one of those things I needed to delay it because it was bad timing. But we will award approximately $16,000 in grant money to DeWitt County businesses this round, and we're always excited on how that program works, and look forward to seeing some applications come in on that program as well.
Sure. Now, I know we had talked, Curt, at the start of the year. You were anticipating a pretty big year for grants in DeWitt County. Does this kind of slow the outlook of the rest of the year then?
Well, so this will get us up to 34,000 in grants for the year. And I think what we will do at this point, because we need to make sure these are spent by the end of the year, we will, the REV grant that we partner with First National Bank, we're looking at placing that into next year. And so there'll be an additional 15,000 that would have come this year that will move toward next year as well. So we'll have about 35,000 in grants this year, and then we'll bump that number up a little bit more next year. So it did slightly affect that, but we always want to have a steady stream of grant dollars there to help our local business for sure.
Sure. Now, what is there a difference between this grant cycle and the REV grant cycle that folks are largely familiar with?
No, actually, both programs are patterned after the same. We because we partner with First National Bank, REV is kind of their what they like to call it their terminology, but the programs themselves are essentially very, very similar. First National, we did do a public, the public presentations were done, or the pitches for the money were done publicly last year with REV. And we anticipate that to be the case, but that's really the only real difference with those programs. We're glad to have the funds available from any source to help our local businesses for sure. So,
how do folks learn more about this opportunity, Curt?
Again, follow us on Facebook. Reach out anytime 935-5271, and I'm glad to talk about anything business related that you'd like to talk about for sure, grants or otherwise.
Easy enough. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, our guest on the phone. Network News on the way.
WHOW.